listening to The Doug Gottlieb Show. Filling in for Doug today, here's Amy Lawrence.
I promise you, on everything that's ever meant anything to me in my life, the morals, the values, the virtues by which I've lived for my 28 years on this planet, I did not do this. I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point.
Well, now what? That was then. This is now. O'Reilly Auto Parts, the one-stop shop for all your automotive needs. Everything for your vehicle in one convenient place. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Ryan Braun losing endorsements, not gaining endorsements, losing fans. Did he gain some of them back after releasing a statement? It's on a piece of paper. I have it right here in front of me. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show, CBS Sports Radio and CBSSportsRadio.com. So let's welcome to the show John Maroon, who is the owner of Maroon PR. And I'm wondering, John, from the statement, if you've read it, if it was worth getting all the way through, and what's your reaction to it?
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me. I did read it, and I've read a lot of the reaction to it, and I think from a fan's perspective, it's certainly not nearly enough. And I think it was almost going halfway. There was a lot of anticipation for this from Ryan, putting out a statement rather than us seeing his face, rather than him facing the fire a little bit and answering some questions, really turned it into an ill-advised move, I think. And, you look through there and there's a lot of, I only used it for this short amount of time. I did it to get over an injury. It was the unspecified drugs. The positives were he did apologize profusely, again and again. But I think it's really important that people need to hear these folks and see them, and he needs to answer some questions as well. It's not enough. I'm guessing there was a lawyer heavily behind this, because when you get PR advice and legal advice, they don't get along, and legal advice almost always wins because it's scarier. I think that's what happened.
And there is a lawsuit, of course, that's been filed against him by one of his close friends who swears that he has all kinds of dirt on Ryan Braun. So once you read the statement, how much do you think was actually crafted by Braun and how much was crafted by his PR people?
I'm guessing it was a combination of the two. I think, the PR people probably helped write it and make it covered all the bases, but I'm sure Ryan had a lot of input on it. There's no doubt about that. But again, I think it goes back to, unless he's sitting there answering some of the questions from members of the media, from folks like yourself, then you're really never going to feel like he's on his way to recovery. The written statement, I get it. If you want to put that out so your words are out there on the table, that's the start. But shortly thereafter, the next day, he needs to sit down, and I would encourage him, if I were his PR person, that if there are legal issues and you can't talk about that, say it, address it, get it out there that, hey, look, I want to say more. I got a lot more to say. There's some litigation going on here, and I can't under the advice of my attorneys. But I would also find a trusted member of the media that covers you day in and day out, somebody from the Brewers media contingent, and sit down with them and let that go viral. But this was an effort that fell short, in my view, and probably ended up hindering Ryan and hurting him a little more than helping him.
So you are a former director of PR for the Orioles and director of media relations for the Indians, and also longtime spokesperson for Cal Ripken Jr., who didn't really have to offer many apologies in his day. But if you were trying to get a guy like a Ryan Braun, or let's just say any standard PED user in Major League Baseball, ready to apologize, ready to come out with a statement, how would you coach him?
Well, I think if you're truly sorry and you're ready to truly tell the truth and no holds barred, then it's really not that hard. It's challenging emotionally, but we live in a society that loves to forgive. This is what we do. We forgive people as long as they seem to mean it. So like I said earlier, I think I would get with the folks that cover that team on a regular basis and could speak more directly to my fans, and I would sit down with a number of them, and I'd answer a lot of tough questions, and I'd tell them I'm sorry and basically say, listen, I'm a hell of a ball player. I made mistakes. I used these drugs. I fell into the trap. But I'm going to come back clean and earn everybody's respect back and show you I don't need this to be a great ball player. And I'm going to do it without it. And hopefully in time people can forgive me and let me get on for a second chance in my career. And I think sometimes, it seems a little harder than it is. But you have to be prepared to tell the truth, and you have to be prepared to answer some very challenging questions and face some ridicule. But in the end, our country likes to forgive folks that sincerely want that forgiveness. Give them a second chance, but they need to see it, and they need to hear you, and they need to feel it.
John Maroon is the owner of Maroon PR, and as we say, has worked in Major League Baseball, Cal Ripken Jr.'s spokesperson, as well as a former director of PR for the Orioles, so certainly understands the arena that Ryan Braun is in. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show here on CBS Sports Radio. So I'm sure you remember Tiger Woods' apology, where he read his statement. It was a very controlled environment. Now, different story. He was apologizing for his personal transgressions, but he read a prepared statement and came across stiff and unfeeling, and it really didn't seem genuine. So at what point do you worry as a PR person that being in front of cameras can actually be detrimental, John?
Well, I think, it goes back to that sincerity and that willingness to answer the questions, Amy. I mean, I think you're right. If it's a legal situation, if you got to protect certain things, if you can't say everything that's in your heart or on your mind, then you get into that whole trap. Then you issue statements, then you read statements in front of the camera. If you are fully prepared to say, yes, okay, fine, I screwed up, I made a huge error in judgment, and I lost the faith of the fans, and I cheated the game, but I'm ready to face those questions and beat those doubts back and get my life back on track. If you're willing to say all that, then sit down with some members of the press. It could even be hand-selected members of the press. I'm a big believer in doing it with the guys that cover you day to day, because they're going to be there when you get back, and let that go viral. But there's a way to do it, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to bare your soul, and you have to be able, not only willing, but able to say the truth. So again, it goes back to that legal issue, makes things very, very sticky.
So in the case of Ryan Braun, the statements come out, doesn't appear as though he is going to say anything publicly, at least for now, while this lawsuit is out there. What steps would you recommend he take now? Is this hide from people, or is there something else he can do?
Again, yeah, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. I think I'm guessing right now what's going on is there's probably a really smart PR guy or woman saying, look, we got to talk, they got to hear you, they got to see you. And there's a more stronger lawyer and legal team saying, no, we can't do any of that. And the legal team almost generally wins, but I think there's got to be a happy medium. I think it's really important that people see Ryan and hear Ryan. If all that stuff is true, if he did only take it for a short amount of time, if he did take it just to recover from injury, fine. Then get out in front and talk about it. And if there's certain subjects that you can't touch on, or one or two questions that can't be answered because of pending legal issues or what have you, then you said that you lay out the ground rules in advance. Media members get it. There's a lot of good folks out there covering sports. They understand that there are some rules in place when you have sensitive interviews, but they got to see you, they got to hear you, you got to answer a good amount of those questions. I would encourage him to do that, and if he can't, then I would have probably encouraged him not to do anything, because I don't think that there's more and more questions swirling about it. He's getting beaten up badly on social media. And I saw Tim Kirkland, I heard him earlier today, made a good point. He said, well, if there are legal matters, at least address that in the statement, saying, I wish I could say more, and he didn't do that. So I'm guessing there's probably some internal bickering in the Braun camp, only because of that whole PR legal butting of heads.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, since you're the expert on this, Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod's team, had been out there talking. His attorneys were doing TV and radio shows indicating that the truth would come out. He's innocent. And now all of a sudden, A-Rod has put the kibosh on all of that and has said, stay silent. He's refusing to answer any questions too. As a PR person, what possible way could you even see to fix this?
Well, it's funny with Alex. It seems it's almost from the court of public opinion. That's a battle that's been lost, and I'm not sure that is retainable. He continues to perform well. The Yankees continue to play well. I think fans in New York will tend to say, okay, good, he's our guy, and we'll circle the wagons for him. But from a national perspective, I think over the course of many years, Alex is one of those things, like a bad